The UK then became an option for us to consider visa-wise. I don't want to subject us to more hurt. It was really heartbreaking how badly it went. Grab a tea, coffee, gin, whatever it is that you're drinking, because we need a chat. So get comfortable because we're getting into all the details today. Should I do my nails? Listen, I haven't done my nails in 20 years. I even cut them down completely short the other day because I was like, I am getting these nails done. So while we chat and have a drink, let's do things, because this may as well, I want to say be a productive time, but let's say this may as well be a therapeutic time. Let's just have one fat therapy session. I don't know. I need it. So let me go get those things. Alright, here we go. Let's get these done. Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. I say morning, maybe it's like the middle of the day for you. I don't know. Hi, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know it already, my name is Dimps. I'm 27 years old. I live between South Africa and the UK with my husband, and we essentially have been going back and forth between the two countries for about 3 years now. And ma'am, it has been a roller coaster. If you're not new here, I'm so sorry for the disappearing act. I have been seeing flames. Life has just been really hectic and really sad and overwhelming, and it's just been everything and more. It almost feels like, so if you saw one of my life updates, this one over here, last year, so 2023, was as great a year as it was a terrible year. It feels like the past 2 months have been like the equivalent of all of 2023. It feels like the highs have been high and the lows have been low in such a short amount of time. Like we've like one thing after the next, good thing, bad thing, good thing. It's just like ever like, what is going on? So let's rewind it back. At this point, Seth and I have been in the UK for 2 months. It's mid-February and we essentially arrived here mid-December. You would have seen the vlog with my family, our final, our year-end function with my sister and her family. It was really beautiful and cute. Christmas party, you name it, happy days. Everything until that point was kind of Seth and I trying to figure out, should we go back to the UK or should we stay in South Africa? What plans do we need to make if we're staying in South Africa? On Seth's British passport, he gets 90 days in South Africa with no visa, no nothing, like he's good. So his 90 days lapped mid-December, and so we obviously do the best we can to hear what God is saying, where he's wanting to have us in the next season. That alongside how long to be in that space for that season. If we wanted to stay in South Africa, we would have had to make a plan to essentially get a new 90 days on Seth's passport. And if we were to come back to the UK, it was then booking a flight, acknowledging that we've just come back from Margate, so it's traveling over back to Pretoria, about 2 weeks, traveling back to the UK, just a lot of ups and downs. And if you don't know it already, traveling up and down is really expensive. Things like grocery shopping can just be really expensive because you buy that first batch of groceries over and over and over, and so we've done that so many times in the past 2 months. It is unreal. So cool, we felt led to come to the UK. We were really excited about it because, like I said, we really tried to hear from God, like, where do you want us? He was opening doors and it was like, okay, we see, cool, let's go. So God always gives us the next step. It's never like, here's your 5-year plan, like that's what you're gonna do, then you're gonna go here, then you're gonna go there, then you're gonna do this, then you're gonna do that. It's very much like next step right now. So we'll make a decision within like, let's say 2 weeks maybe. It's like confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. And one of the main catalysts of that was that we were going to have accommodation through a mutual friend, essentially from the end of January throughout the rest of our stay, like through to April. So really excited. It looked like there were going to be a ton of conversations and opportunities that we were kind of looking at. Essentially, to wrap that all up, the UK then became an option for us to consider visa-wise, and us staying here for an X amount of time. And just to clarify, that's not like we're definitely good. Our life decisions and things are never, it's absolutely going to be this thing. It's always considering new possibilities and ruling out things that are just impossible, essentially. And so previously it's been like, it's always South Africa, because South Africa is the one place that we can actually make things happen financially, community, everything. And also that was the original plan when we got married, and that's what we did until it fell through because of the visa rejection and all that drama. If you don't know the drama about the visa rejection, this is the video to have a look at. Cool. A couple of days before we fly out, more and more doors begin to open. We got the opportunity and confirmation that we could stay at our friend's place over Christmas. That was like massive blessing. I think that was 2 weeks. You would have seen those Christmas vlogs. If you're not new here, you know that accommodation is a big deal to us because we don't have our own space. It really is a driving force, like pretty heavily in terms of decision making, because it's from having our own space that we're able to run our businesses more efficiently. It's from our own space that I can film more freely, that I know, really practical things like groceries, cooking, and just like home living, you know what I mean, resting. And then you'll notice that in that vlog I did say we've got other plans, Wales possibly, and that essentially was for us to go to Wales for, I think it was 3 weeks. It was for most of January. So let's zoom out on all of these accommodation spaces. So we came from Margate, stayed there for a month, top tier. And then it's my parents' house is where we stay, which is my siblings when we're in Pretoria. And then Seth's dad's house, that's where we stay when we're in the UK. And then there's house number 1. That's where we spent Christmas. It was about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks over the Christmas period, New Year's, all the good things. And then house number 2, that would have been Wales. That would have been from beginning of January to end of January. And then house number 3, that's the mutual friend's place, who we would have stayed at from end of January throughout our stay until April. That was the original plan. Those are the doors that were open to us, and it was like, go ahead. And we were like, yeah, thank you, Lord, happy days. Mind you, that means over 2 months we would have moved 4 times, 5 times, and that means getting that first grocery shop 4 times, 5 times. That means restarting routines 4 times, 5 times. That means just everything: business, work, productivity, rest. It's starting all those processes over a handful of times, which honestly is exhausting. All while coming to the conclusion that we need to apply for Seth's South African visa. And that came through because, or let's rather say one of the main reasons was that the day before we flew, we got a message from Seth's older brother who got notified of an article that essentially explains that the UK has increased its financial requirement from 18k to £36,000 a year. Which is unreal. South Africa, that is 800,000 rand. I'm like, for any household, and that's single earning. It's not a combined income, it's a single income of 36k. That is unreal, because I would come in as a dependent of his. So yeah, that immediately was like, okay. So like I said, we were excited to be coming to the UK because all the doors are opening. Nights before we fly, that night sitting there with my sister, brother-in-law, my niece, like good times, happy days, bye guys, we love you. Get that message and it's like, okay, all right, we've been brought back into reality. The UK is not an option for us living there. Yeah, we can't do that. So we essentially came into the UK knowing that, okay, it looks like South Africa is the option for us. So sharp January comes through and we decide, okay, cool, we've got X amount of time to sort out Seth's application, because before leaving South Africa, we sorted out all the papers that needed to be sorted out there. So certifying documents, all those things. And now certified documents are only valid for 3 months. So if we were going to apply, it would need to be within the first 2 months of being in the UK. So we basically had until mid-February to have everything in. Yo guys, when I tell you timelines and trying to make decisions, and it's like life-changing decision. It's crunch time, and if we see the gap, if we see the opportunity, if the door opens, we need to go through it immediately. Otherwise we carry on back and forth, and we've been doing that for years now, and it's exhausting and it's expensive, and we need to settle down. We need to settle down. So January comes around, we're wanting to apply. Now it's time to sort out UK documentation, police clearances, all these things. And so it comes the time for us to go to Wales. It turns out our friends didn't need us to come over anymore, and so we said, let's please push that. If you guys don't need us to house sit anymore, like, we should probably focus on our visa application rather than traveling again and starting over again. And things like police clearances, medical reports, like it takes time to not only apply for them, but for them to get back to you. And so it's like it's a timeline game, man. We're like So we end up then not going to Wales, which means we stay at Seth's dad's house for a longer period of time, which means not having our own space again goes back into affecting our rest, productivity, all the things. But it's okay, we keep it pushing because there's nothing else we can do. So that's number 2, falls through. And then the original, not reason, let's say the original catalyst for us being like, okay, it feels like we should be in the UK is now this mutual friend's house that we were going to stay at from January until April. That unfortunately falls through as well. Unfortunately, the original conversations kind of changed a lot closer to the time, and it became like, something I explained to Seth was that it feels like the belt on it is becoming tighter and tighter. That obviously means like our ability to breathe and thus like just be free and chill and enjoy our own space, it's becoming not that. If anything, it's becoming strenuous. And so it was like, we need to let this thing go. Like we can't force things. And it clearly is just, it's not for us, which is wild because we left South Africa with the hope and excitement directly linked to this opportunity. And yeah, like I said, like things just kept falling through and falling through and falling through. So we knew that we're meant to be in the UK, but our time here hasn't looked the way that we expected it to, because it's almost like the same doors that opened for us to be here have closed while we were here. You know, when you have an expectation for something, or you even look back and are like, oh, this could have gone like this, or this may have been whatever. I need to be doing my nails, look at me. It was really disappointing for that one in particular to have fallen through, especially because rest was something that we were really lacking, especially given that we were just traveling so much and moving so much and living out of our suitcases on levels. But then a week later, our friends were explaining to our friends like, oh, unfortunately house number 3 has fallen through, like it's not going to work out for us anymore. That door is absolutely closed and like impossible for us to walk through. So they were like, oh, we actually have some friends with which Seth happens to know, and they have an annex, which is essentially like granny flats. You may know it as a granny flat. And so at the time we're feeling really disappointed, really dilapidated, really just like, what's going on? Like just exhausted. We've been moving loads, still trying to recover from traveling and Christmas and you know. And Seth, bless him, was feeling really stressed and just told me that, listen, I don't have the capacity to push on this thing. Like we've really experienced a lot of disappointment at this point, and obviously trying to push work and productivity and all these things, like it really gets to you, and your capacity for more disappointment is really shaved very thin. So he just said, if you feel that it's the right thing to do, or it's the place that we should pursue and things, like please take the wheel on it. Like I don't have the capacity. And I was like, I completely hear that. Okay, so I took that on, and I remember feeling stressed about it because it's like we already feel the way that we do. I don't want to subject us to more hurt or to more stress or to more disappointment. Like I know, man, making decisions that specifically are about moving and things can be really heavy when it's just been thing after thing after thing that's just knocked you out and just full on punched you in the face, broke your nose, lost some teeth, blue eye, all from one punch. So it was like, I don't know what to do. Like, should we be doing this? Should we not? Nah. I think as we lived in so many different spaces and like Airbnbs, different homes, house sat a couple of times, and it's like, at this point, we know what is a functional home and what isn't. Things like a stove and oven are really necessary. The size of a fridge absolutely matters. The size of the bedroom that you have contributes to your ability to rest and be productive. The amount of spaces in the house, like the separation of a bedroom, a living room, a kitchen, you know what I'm saying? Like, that absolutely contributes. So I was like, I don't know what their annex / granny flat is like. So with all of it, I was just really cautious to not overcommit and not, again, subject us to like something that's just going to drain us more. Listen, the vlogs coming up are basically just going to be an unraveling of all of this. So you're going to see it all. Moving back and forth to get our things from here to there, all those things. Like, it's been a mission. Continue to gather documents for Seth's visa, meeting with immigration lawyers. That was really helpful because unfortunately our previous ones really low-key, high-key screwed us over and gave us wrong information, and that's the whole reason our whole lives look the way they do, because they misinformed us. But you know, we move. But these immigration lawyers were really helpful. Oopsie. Gave us all kinds of knowledge and insights and things. And then last week we traveled again. Went down to Northampton. It was really good, but we were really exhausted. Now again, all of these things have happened over the past 2 months. So it's been such an up and down. It is unreal. We have packed bags so many times. And so last week, while in Northampton, we decide, let's now apply for this visa. We've got all the documentation. We've met with the immigration lawyers. Everything has come through. We know what we need to do and what we don't need to do. And in terms of the validity of documentation, like certified copies and all the things, the very first one that would have expired would have been, I think, the 14th of February. And so it was like, let's book for Monday. Let's just get it done, get out the way while everything is still valid. Because if you're waiting longer, not only will it hang over us, but like documentation will actually expire. And that's not cute, because that means having to fly back to South Africa and starting all these things all over again. So great. What we decide is to book the visa appointment for this past Monday, the 11th of February, I believe. And when I tell you, it was the ultimate punch in the face, like full on, just it was bad. It went so badly and left us so hopeless and so just completely finished. I'm like, with all the traveling, all the planning, all the everything, praying the works, and it went so badly, guys. I couldn't tell you. I'll do a whole video with Seth. Let me know if that's something you want to see. Yeah, it it was really heartbreaking how badly it went. And it was gutting because like not only did we pray for like every moment of the way, like completing the application, we prayed. On the way to Manchester, we prayed. Messaged friends and family to pray and to have our backs and everything. And so it was so gutting to have experienced what we did. Oh, yeah. I don't know, man. You know when you don't even have tears anymore? When it's like, I think I cried all the tears last year. I don't have anymore. And I understand that tears are good and, you know, they release the endorphins and all those things. But I'm just like, honestly, they haven't solved anything for me up till this point. I don't think that they're going to start now. Like, if anything, just have to keep pushing. Just have to keep grinding. Just have to keep trusting God. Even though that becomes harder and harder every time, it seems. Yo, guys. Woo. Do you ever feel so dilapidated? Or even, do you ever feel like things cannot get any lower than this? Situationally. Like, and then they do. Like, things actually get worse and you're like, oh wow. Oh wow. I did not see that coming. Not for 2 seconds. So it's been really rough, and I guess that's where I've been, just trying to get life together, trying to be productive, trying to just seeking stability, some sort of stability, and having hope, but then it just being crumbled to the ground, and having to get up again and try again and look for new hope. And yo, it's really been tough, and I'm like, it's tested my faith, and yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I think one of the beautiful things, honestly, is having experience to stand on in terms of God's goodness and his provision and just solidness. Because I'm like, if I had to base my faith on just my current experiences over the past year, 2 years, a couple of years, it's so deep, and I am still struggling, and I do still struggle to see God in a lot of this, but I just know from experience. I know I've seen him, I've heard him. Like, there's no way I could ever deny him or ever deny his goodness, even though I struggle to see it. Some facts are just facts, and I guess you just kind of hope that there's purpose in it all, and that it is meaningful, and that there is a plan, even though things just look really sporadic and random and negative. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where I've been. Life has just been dribbling me. I've just been in this boxing ring, just taking punches after punches after punches. I've been in that scenario, that analogy I made the last time, of being forced into a plane, being pushed out, splatting on the ground, literally dying, all the bones being crushed, and then being called up again, and it's like, hey Dimps, still alive? And I'm like, just barely. And it's like, great, that's good enough, we're putting you back on that plane just to push you back out, just for you to splat again, and just doing that over and over and over. So yeah, there you go. I'm so sorry that I've been away, but life has been within. But I guess we do our best to keep trusting, to keep our heads up, to lean on community, to keep working and being productive, to see where prayers have been answered, and just to acknowledge that there's purpose. There has to be purpose in this. There's no way that this is all meaningless. There's no way. There's no way. Like I said, in the vlogs to come, you're going to see all these things just happen. They might be a little bit broken because, I mean, I was going through it, so sometimes it was just hard to vlog. I don't always vlog when I'm going through things, just because I'm like, I just need to regain my sanity so that I myself understand what's going on, in order to then communicate that with you guys and bring you along to it. So I'll do my best to make the vlogs make sense. And I'll hopefully have the next vlog up for you real soon. The first one will be a moving vlog, so excited to show you that. Excited to show you around this beautiful home that we've had the privilege of staying in. Thank you for listening to my life updates. I know it's a long one. I hope that you've been comfortable. Also, your prayers, like a lot of you guys have sent me really kind messages, and I appreciate that so much. I appreciate you being part of my community. I appreciate you being part of our story and our lives. I know there's a lot of ups and downs, and I'm sorry that I can't always be consistent, but I promise I am doing the best I can, mate. I'm doing the best I can. I hope that you'll be here to not only see us in the depths of it, but I hope that you'll also be here to see us when it's the season to flourish and just have joy and live lives of joy. If that makes sense. But thank you so much for coming through. I hope this vlog just gave you some perspective of where we've been at. Can't wait to share more with you guys and more in detail. If you enjoyed it, or if, I don't know, if you like supporting me and us, please hit the like button. It helps on levels. Other than that, I'll see you very soon. I appreciate you guys so much. I really do. Thank you for being part of this life. See you guys. I haven't even finished these nails, but we've done these two, and that is great. Bye.